Good morning. It's just about 5 o'clock in the morning outside of Calgary, and we're going to do a practice with a bit of longer holds. And this one is a shout out to Nancy, who was asking for some stuff around her glutes and her T7, T8. So this will kind of free probably, well, I don't know if it's going to free it up for you or not because I can't see you move, but I think you will enjoy this one. We're going to be doing some longer holds. Have a block handy, and you might need a strap as well. So have those close by, but we're going to start on our backs with a block underneath our hips. So here we are. I've got mine. I've got a bigger block today, but you know that there's medium, low, and high. Because of the time of day, I'm just going to be here with it underneath my body like so. I'm just going to rest here initially and just feel like what the heck is going on. Yeah, just feel what's going on in my body, feel what's going on in my breath. And then from there we're going to take an ankle up onto the knee. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I want to first find out how my leg bone is moving in my hip socket. Now I might have my hand up here, but I'm not pushing with my hand. I'm just noticing how this leg is moving. And if my opposite leg, if that is pushing into the floor or pushing back to me, or if my pelvis is moving. So I just want to get a sense of how this leg bone is moving today. Given the variety of things that I did yesterday, is my pelvis shifting on the block? So just tuning into this structure. And then we'll go to the other side and same thing. And so the reason I call this ease as the foundation of strength is that ease, if you have that undercurrent and foundation, then that's what you're building upon, yeah? But if you've got a bunch of tension and a bunch of poor movement pattern and you add strength on top of that, well then that's what you're adding strength on. So then which one would be more sustainable, yeah? Just get a feel for what's going on here. Okay, good. And now, let's bring this leg back up. We're going to take the leg to the sky. Now, you might need a strap, or maybe you'll be comfortable with the knee being bent. Just watch if that leg wants to roll inward, and allow for almost, you may even want to rotate it outward just a little bit. But more the idea is to keep that leg from here straight up. But if you notice that you're falling inward a little bit, then maybe consider going a little bit outward. But as you do that, if you're moving it outward, just make sure you're doing that from your back of your hip, like your rotators over back here, okay? So now let your pelvis settle in. Imagine your leg like a wooden telephone pole sinking into the pelvis. Yeah. And your pelvis is like mud. We're going to be here for just a few more breaths. And then just notice what's going on up here. And are you gaining any tension? Are you holding your breath? Is your tongue at the roof of your mouth? Are you gripping with your jaw? And see if you can just settle some of that stuff out. It's not uncommon to have a little bit of shake happen in your leg. And then bring that leg down. Okay, other side, other leg comes up. So now you know what we're doing. So just be aware of what's going on through your body. Think about your leg, this opposite leg. Notice if you're pushing with the other foot. Notice if your pelvis is tucking back. Notice if there's anything going on through here, up and through your belly or your rib cage. Really try and dial down whatever tension, like extraneous tension, yeah? Tension as a concept is not all bad. It's when it's inappropriate, yeah? And so if you're gripping a whole ton, if you're holding your breath, if your eyes are getting involved, if you're feeling strain elsewhere, then that's a pretty good indication that that's likely inappropriate tension. And that's what we want to peel back. Because you can feel so much better, and like just your body is just way more responsive and supple. So just a few more breaths here. Okay, good. Bring that leg down. Okay, now I'm going to scooch and angle myself this way for you guys. We're going to do the same thing, leg up, but this time with the opposite leg, we're going to scooch it away. Okay, so if I face you directly, the foot's going to stay on the floor, and the toes are going to stay on the floor. Yeah. So don't dorsiflex your foot. Keep your foot on your space so that the bottom of your foot stays on the floor. Yeah. So you're not going to straighten the leg all the way, but just super easy through your leg. Your leg might shake. That's all right. Ease as the foundation. Ease as the foundation. Ease as the foundation. Okay, and let's switch that up. So the leg comes down, and then let's go for the other side. And the leg scooches out. Bottom of the foot stays on the ground. Notice if you're really gripping through your pelvic floor. And sometimes I want to say this too, is even though some of the instruction I'm saying is, let go of some of this tension you don't need and all that, I also completely I totally understand that sometimes there's inappropriate tension that we're utilizing as support, and that as we gain more stability, that can sometimes integrate. So that sometimes is the case. The key is you just need to pay attention. You need to pay attention if these compensatory patterns are sticking with you or if they're shifting. And if they're not shifting, then chances are pretty good something's up. Yeah? So if you find yourself kind of in a thinking loop of, well, maybe it will change one day, chances are that you're probably not doing the thing that you really need to be doing. Okay, bring that down. And then let's take the block away. But have it close by, yeah? All right, let's bring one knee up. So we're in, the leg bone has moved in the hip socket. We're in hip flexion. Hand comes onto the front of that knee. Push that knee in. So you're going to engage the hip flexors just a little bit. Okay, good. And then other side. Engage the hip flexors a bit. Just watch that on the side that you're holding with your hand, that you're not really bracing a whole bunch. Sometimes that can happen and people can get really limited and through the thoracic spine, push into their lower back, into the QL, and then the movement goes a bit sideways. So keep it all easy up through here and just have it be your hip flexor that's engaging. Okay, good. So now what I want to do is take you into a bit of a twist. And that twist, it could be a big twist, it could be a little twist depending on you. Have your block or maybe a bolster handy. You're going to cross your legs. Shoulder girdle's going to stay on the ground. And we're going to take a twist. Yeah. So now you might not come all the way to the ground. You might want to put something underneath here. We're just going to be here and just be here for a number of breaths. Or you can be all the way down, but the key is that you're not pushing through a bunch of stuff that you know you shouldn't be pushing through. Your shoulders are easy on the ground. And the reason for the block, so I'm not quite making it all the way to the ground this morning. So the reason for the block is it brings the floor up to you. And so then if I'm here dangling, now I've got gravity acting on my leg and there's eccentric work through my body to hold it. Yeah? And so that's got to let go in order for you to come further. So that can be a bit extra strainy. Not all the time, but it can be. So when you bring the block up, your body can just settle out a little bit more easily as you're in this longer hold. Now you might be wondering, but Susie, where's the strength in this one? Just you wait. Just you wait. What's so cool about twists is that we can get into this outer hip, and for a lot of people, this outer hip, like the outer abductors, that's a duplicate word, isn't it? Your abductors of your hip, which are on the outer hip, they can get really limited. And sometimes being in a twist like this can just be the thing that makes them breathe a little bit better. You're also coming between the ribs and the pelvis, which is, you're coming along that spiral line if you follow anatomy trains, and all of that when you give it a bit more breath and a bit more space, can just give you a lot better, much better functioning. And some people can free up their SI, they can free up their outer hips so their glute med functions better. It can help their knee function better. It can make their guts feel better. It can have their thoracic spine feel better. I mean, lots of stuff can arise out of that. Okay, so now we're going to come out of this. Now, be mindful about this. I want you to focus in on your abdomen. So place your hand on your abdomen and just kind of move back like this. Okay, we're not moving our body yet, but your abdomen and your outer hip's going to lift your leg, and your abdomen is going to pull you back. Okay, so just to show you that again, because this is a movement of your obliques bringing you back. Okay, all right, let's go to the other side. So legs cross and bring yourself into a twist. Now I'm facing the screen. You can have your head facing up. You can have your head turned. It's totally up to you what you want to do. You may have a block. You may not have a block. The key is that sometimes you've got a lot of range. And I was talking to a client about this yesterday. She has a lot of range, but when she comes out of a position like this, there's a ton of pain. And so I had to teach her to not go all the way, right? So to, even though the range was available, to not go into the full range, to go through a small part of it. So when she came out of it, when she used her strength to come out of it, she wasn't increasing her pain. And that can sometimes be a bit of a brain fart, right? Because it can mix up your brain a little bit. Because on one level, you've got the range of motion to come into it. So you think, oh, I can do the movement. But when you come out of it, you create all this weird patterning because you don't actually have the whether it's the strength or whether the coordination to pull yourself out. So you actually need to shorten your movement up in that stance. Now, a lot of people will then say, but then how will I ever improve? And I say, don't worry, you will. Stay in the range that you actually can do it fully, both in and out. So we're going to do that. We're going to come out of it now. So think about your abdomen. Try not to push with your foot. Try not to leverage with this other arm. Really try to make this an abdominal connection as you come out. But also notice if you did push with if you did push with the foot or the arm, just notice that you did that. Yeah? That's not a big deal. It's just if you want to focus on the twist and you really want to make your abdomen a little stronger, then actually utilize the abdomen. Yeah? Okay, so now we're going to take the legs up like so. And we're going to bring one leg over. Now we're going to come into this twist, and this leg is going to hover. For those of you who wanted some more, like we're wondering, where's the strength part, Susie? We're going to be here for a little bit. So what we're doing is so this shoulder is on the ground, so maybe you're back here, which is fine. But the idea is that this is where you're ultimately coming, is that, and I'll show it to you like this, is that your knees are going to be at some point flush. But if you don't have the ability to come into the twist, then come in here is fine. Just make sure that you are comfortable and that this leg is going to do a little bit of work. Your outer hip's going to do a little bit of work. Be mindful that you're not pushing this leg into the floor, but you're utilizing this hip to hold the hip. Not pushing into this leg to hold the hip. Using this hip to hold the leg up. And this leg is level. So imagine you've got a construction level here, and the leg is going to be level. Yeah. So you got a nice twist going on through your body, which can do some great relieving up through the rib cage and the neck, through the torso. And you've got some work going on to the outer hip. Let's do about 5 more breaths. And really allow the breath to be a good breath. Watch who wants to get slim. Watch the desire with this bottom leg. Relax the bottom leg. Let this hip take the work. Okay, now you can do one of two things. You can drop the leg to this one and then roll yourself back, or you can lift this leg and come on back and take a moment and just feel what the heck just happened. Maybe stretch your legs out. Okay, good. And then let's come over to the other side. So the legs are going to come on up. And I've got my left leg dropping over to the left, and then the right leg and the hip and the pelvis follow. Just be easy with your breathing. Easy, easy, easy. You might even feel a little bit of this through your rib cage. You might feel it up in through your chest. But again, your leg is level. If you have come this far, your leg's level. If you found that you couldn't come this far and you have to be back a little bit, that's fine. But if you are able to come here and you're comfortable here, just keep checking that the leg isn't falling. Yeah. All right. Let's do 3 more breaths. Okay, and then either drop the legs together and then roll out, or lift this leg up and then bring it back. Bring your feet to the floor and lie back and notice what you feel. Bring your hands to the sky. Index finger touches the thumb. Same with the other side. So you've got little circles, okay symbols in your hands. Bend the elbows and bring the arms wide. And then bring them back. Bring them wide. And then bring them back. Bring them wide. And then bring them back. Bring them wide. And then bring them back. Okay, let's take your thumb tips together, or you can hold on to a strap, right? So either thumb tips or hold on to the strap, and then start to bring your arms over your head, and then back. Over your head, and back. Good. And then over your head, good, and back. Lovely. Okay, so now you're here. Notice what you feel. Notice how those few movements were for you. And you may have a desire to now go for a run or do some weights or do a more, a bigger practice. Just check in with yourself. Notice what it is that you're feeling and then do whatever you need to do next. I'm going to go upstairs for some breakfast. So I will see you tomorrow morning. You have a great practice. And we will see you also again next week on Wednesday for another Ease as a foundation to strength. All right. See you next time. Take care.